fine. Okay, good morning everyone. Today we can discuss the topic of static and non-static variables and the blocks and the methods. What are the static and what are the non-static? Before we will move into the static and non-static, first you have to understand the memories in your Java. Normally your JVM contains the memory. That memory is of a two types, basically is of a two types. One was a stack memory, another one was a heap memory. In a stack memory, we have a separate space we call as meta space or permgen. Meta space or permgen. Okay. It is a heap memory. Suppose it is a enter your JVM. Suppose it is enter your JVM. It contains the two memories. One was heap memory. Heap memory is a highest memory in your JVM. It contains I think 768 MB like that. Okay. And another one was a stack memory. Stack memory is nothing but it follows some LIFO structure. LIFO is nothing but suppose which was enter the last, it will be go first. What it will contains we'll see. And another thing is another thing as a meta space. Meta space or permgen. Both of the two names it has. One was the meta space, another one was a permgen. What it is we'll see. First we'll see about the heap memory. Okay, first we'll see about the stack memory. Stack memory is nothing but it will store. Both will be the store. But what stack memory can store and what was the heap memory can store. Stack memory stores the class attributes or class variables. Class variables like suppose like primitive data types, references and method variables and results. Normally we already seen the recursion, right? In the recursion you can go till to the base condition. From base condition onwards you can come back to the back, right? Again that all the at the time in the every iteration the value will be the at one method, right? It will be stored in here stack memory. And comes to the heap memory, what it will store is heap memory have one separate space that was normally it will store the arrays, strings, objects, okay, and values. Values are nothing but suppose I am storing like a equals to 10. The 10 is stored here, not in the stack memory. Then what in the stack memory store is suppose I have a variable int a equals to 10. Okay, my 10 is stored in this heap memory. My 10 is stored in the heap memory at some particular location. Suppose it will store in the location of ABC. It will store in the location of ABC. Where the 10 will be stored? In the ABC. Here in the stack memory, your primitive data types are stored in the stack memory. A equals to ABC. That means it will refers to the heap memory location. Stack memory contains your variables of the method, but it will refers to the address where it will be stored in your heap memory. Okay, that is the thing. It will not store the exact value. It will refers the location of the heap memory where the actually the value stored. It is the heap memory. And arrays, strings, objects. These are nothing but what are the things you can declare or you can create by using the new keyword. by using new keyword. Suppose if I am creating an object for a class, that is also stored in a heap memory. What are the things you can create by using the new keyword? By creating using a new keyword. Okay. By creating using a new keyword. These are the things: arrays, strings, reference. That means what are the non-primitive data types you have? All can be stored in a heap memory. And another thing is there, heap memory separately contains one string constant pool or runtime constant pool. Okay, we are calling a string constant pool. It also contains string constant pool. String constant pool. Forever remember this. I can explain what is the purpose of string constant pool in the concept of strings. What the heap memory actually contains? Heap memory contains the references variables, reference variables. That means non-primitive data types. And what the values we are storing. And what the stack memory contains? Method variables, method results, and the class variables. Nothing but a primitive data types. And metaspace. Metaspace is nothing but it will store the entire common things for the class. That means what the things you are creating, how can we say, suppose you can create hundreds of objects. Okay. Suppose I am creating a class, the class contains the name, age, but I am creating the 100 objects. First object also have the name and the age. Second object also have the name and the age. Like that 100 object have. It will be segregate in the heap memory. That can we completely discuss when you are understanding about what is a class, what is the object, that all the thing. Simply you have to remember heap memory what it contains, stack memory what it contains.
Initial
And
input values is also contains in the heap memory.
right. Initial values, what are the things you are declaring? A equals to 10. Actually value stores here, the reference will be referred to the stack memory only. That means it will store in the stack memory, but the values in the heap memory you are referring to the address. It will be stored here. Okay. Same thing. Metaspace. What the metaspace contains? Metaspace contains the static things. What are the by using static keyword what you are creating? Those are under the metaspace. Normally, if it is in a heap memory or it is in a stack memory, you have to be called by using the, suppose it is in a heap memory, you have to call by using the object reference. If it is in a stack memory, you can directly call. Why? Because your code is also in the stack memory, so you can directly call. But metaspace, no one is called this. It will directly execute when you run a program. Because of that, if you are simply writing the public static void main, it is also one method, but we are not calling this method. In before at the concept of the methods, I explained that if you want to call the method, first you have to create object for the class. By using the object, you have to be call that method, right? But the main method we are not calling, and also we are not creating object also, but it will execute. How it will be execute is because of the static keyword. Because of the static keyword, when you are declaring something with the static, it will execute. It will execute without calling. Okay. Mainly the okay. All the static things you can okay. All the static things you can access by using class name. Static things you can access by using a class name. Access by using a class name. By using class name. Normally, suppose if you want to access a method, how can you access? You have simply creating object for the class, and by using the object you are calling that method. But here directly you can call by using the class. Directly you can call by using the class. We'll see what the things these all are one by one. One thing you have to be remember, when you write a program and try to execute that file, suppose you are writing one file with that .java extension, you want to execute that file, must and should that Java file contains the main method, which was you are executing one, which was you are executing, that must contains the main method. Without that it will not run. Okay, if you are not include the main method in your program of the running file, it will not execute. Okay, why? Because your Java existed like that. Main method is like a entry point for your Java because of that. Okay, simply I can create right. This is my folder. I can create a new package for today. New Java package. My package name. My package name is day8. Under this package, I can create a class. My class name is every time. What happened? Okay, everything is fine. I can create a class of or else here I can directly create. My class name is static. Here I am using the capital S. It will be the different from the capital S, smallest keyword. You are not allowed to use the keywords as a class names, like a import as a class name, like the static as a class name. If I use the smallest, then it will be a difficult. Okay, you can declare things by using the static. Normally this is the class, right? Here what I have to do, I can include first main method. When you are writing a class, first thing what you have to do is you have to be include one main method. You can write anything. After that you can write, you can use the main method or else you cannot, but you are must include the main method. Package com dot date static and the main method. When you are writing a class, first you have to write the class and next you have to be use the main method, which is the thing. Without this you can't able to run this file. Okay, observe that whichever file you want to run, you are must include with a main method. Okay, normally when you are dealing with the whoops, we are not writing every file has a main method. Only for the executing file you are writing the main method. That is the purpose. Only with the file you are running, you have to be write for that only main method. Okay, main, suppose here I can write first static variables. Okay, static variables or the static blocks or the static methods, all are the class variables or the class methods or the class blocks. So must you have to be write under the class, not under the main method. Okay, suppose simply I can declare a static int a equals to 10. A equals to 10. Static int a equals to 10. Then it means it will be same for the every object. If I am creating by using the static, suppose I can create an object static, Control C, Control V of static S1, suppose equals to new static. That means I am simply creating a object for my class. Okay, if I use the same way, I can create n number of objects. Control C, Control V. it is as s2 and it is as s3. Okay, like the way I can create 3 objects, all are the same class. By using the same class I am creating the 3 objects. It is one static variable. I can create one non-static variable, int b equals to 20. Okay, int b equals to 20. It is static variable. It is a non-static variable or instance variable. Non-static or instance variable. Okay, static or non-static or instance variable. That means for the every object the b contains. That means s1 contains the b, s2 contains the b, s3 contains the b. It will be stored in the heap memory. That means actually it will store in the stack memory, but the reference is this value will be stored in the heap memory. Okay, suppose if I print like sys out of s1 dot b. Okay, if I print like s1 dot b, or else if I print like here I am printing the non-static variable. Observe that. For that you have to access the non-static variable. What you have to do, first you have to create object for that class. Object for that class, by using the object you have to be called that. Why? Because this s1 store in the heap memory. S1 stores in a heap memory. So in that heap memory you have to be call this b. Okay, s1 dot b means what will be the output here? My b contains 20, right? So here also 20, here also 20, and here also 20. Why? Because it is the same. It is the same. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Suppose if I update the s1 dot b equals to 23. s1 dot b equals to 23. Again I'll print these 3 statements. Now what will be the output here? What will be the output here? S1 dot b means S2 dot b?
20.
S2 dot b 20 only.
S1 dot b.
S3 dot b 20 only. Why? Because it is a instance variable. That means for every object b is different. Not common for the S1, S2 and S3. S1b is different, S2b is different, S3b is different. S1 contains the b variable, S2 contains the b variable, S3 contains the b variable. All will be contains the b variable. So I am only changing the S1 object b variable. I am not disturbing anything about the S2 dot b variable. Understand? This is about the non-static. For the non-static variable, every object have that variable. Every object have that variable. So if I update a particular object variable, then it will for the only that particular object, not for the entire. Not for the entire. Okay, wait. Not for the entire. Suppose I can print now, then you can understand, right? Exact 20, 20, 20, 23, 20, 20. Only I am changing the S1 dot b. That means only S1 object. Suppose if I change the S2 dot b, then it will S2 will be the S2 dot b will be the 23. Remaining all will be the 20 only. Why? Because initially it will be the 20. If you are update for any particular object, then it will be updated. Okay. This is non-static. We already seen that. Now comes to the static. If you want to print the static variables, for the static variables, no need of creation of a object. Okay, you can directly access the variable of the static by using the class name. Suppose is out of, suppose I want to print the a, then I can directly static, S capital, with my class name static dot a, then it means I can directly access that variable. Okay, fine. Control C, and again I'll print the static b. Suppose here a is common for the every object. Suppose if you are change in a one object, it will be applicable to the all objects. That means suppose if I updating the value, static dot a equals to as 25. Okay, then here I can get the output of 25. Why? Because you are directly accessing the variables by using the class name. So whatever the objects you can create by using that class name. Suppose I can create in before like objects, static s1 equals to new static of, right? Control C and the control V. I can print sysort of, I'll try to print the s1 dot suppose if I'll try to print, if I press the s1 dot, what are the things you can access, it will all will be the display s1 dot a. Okay, I can't access by using the reference. Why? Because it is a class thing. Okay, static variables all are the class variables, so you don't access it. Now s1 a is also updated, s2 a is also updated. Every object variable with the static means it was the class thing. So if you are change once, it will updated for the all the objects what you are creating. Why? Because you are accessing directly by using the class, not by using the reference. So s1a is same, s2a is same. If you creating s3a is also same, s4a is also same. If you are creating s100a is also the same. Then it is same for the every object when you are declaring with the static. This is the static variable. Okay, static variable and non-static variable are the instance variable. Non-static variable is the different for the every object. Okay, this is the way it is the static variables. Next, another thing is the static methods. Simply I can create a method of void method 1. Okay, sysout of non-static method. Okay, it is non-static method. Why? Because I am not using any static keyword. It is a non-static method. Suppose you want to access this method, how can you do? Simply you are creating an object and you have to call by using object reference s1 dot method 1. Like this you have to be called, right? Also we see in the methods concept, right? And the same thing, but if you are creating a static, that means s1 dot method 1 is different and also s2 dot method 1 is different. s1 dot method 1 is different, s2 dot method 1 is different. Everything will be different. That means how it will store in the heap memory is suppose it is a heap memory. It is a heap memory. In this, how it will be created is, suppose I creating an s1, right? It is one s1 and it is one s2, not in the circle, it will be any shape s1 and it is s2, the same object. S1 contains the B and also S1 contains the S1 contains the B and also S1 contains the method 1. Okay, and also for the same S2 also, S2 contains the B and also S2 contains the method 1. All will be the different. That means what are the things you have the class, those are all will be created for your every object. For the every object it will be created in the heap memory. It will created in the heap memory. What are the class things you have, it will be only store in the stack. Okay, here B means actually what the value it will be stored, it will be stored. That means suppose in instance I can share s2.b as a 23, right? So it will be stored 23 here. Here it will be stored normally as a 10. That means if you are calling s1.b, it will cause to the 10. If you call s2.b, it will cause to the 23. That means it will stores the value. If you call s2.method1, it will cause here. If you call s1.method1, it will cause here. That means all the instances what it has, it will be shared. It will recreated for the every object at a moment. But if you are creating things with a static, suppose I can change it to the static, simply static you can mention. Here if you observe, if you are not mentioning any access modifier here, according to the method structure I am not following any access modifier. If you are not mention any access modifier, it will takes the default access modifier. Okay, if you are not mentioning anything, it will takes the default access modifier. That is the purpose. Here simply I can create the static void method 1. If you observe here, it will create the error. Why? Because it was a static. You can access directly by using the class name static method 1, and it is also static method 1. This method is same for the every object. You can directly access this method by using the class 1. It will created in the stack, under the stack memory. Under the stack memory, one separate space is called meta space. Under this it will create. Okay, meta space is also part of stack memory. It will create under the meta space, so it will be accessed directly by using the class name. Okay, access directly by using the class name. So we are not able to create any, we can't not necessary to create the object for that. You can directly access it. Okay, fine. This is the methods, static methods. You can simply place the static here. This is also one static method, right? This is also one static method you are using for the main. But what is the purpose of main is one predefined method. It was created under your Java. It was created under your Java, but with some specification. That means start the JVM mission. To start the JVM mission, and it will accept one parameter of string args. What is the purpose of this is when you are passing parameters in the terminal, it will becomes here in the form of array. It will call as a string array. Okay, it will call as string array. So that is the purpose. Why static is the reference keyword. It will stores under a meta space. It will execute by using if you want to access it, it will calls directly by using the class names. Okay, and another thing is here static blocks. Static block is nothing but the matter consists between one open brace to one closed brace, right? The same thing. Static block means static, you can write something. This is the static block. Non-static block means this is the non-static block. This is the non-static block. Suppose if I give a task to you like execute or print hello world program, but not write that statement in the main method. Suppose if I give a program to you to print the hello world program, how can you do? To print hello world, how can you do? Suppose if I can give simple program like print the hello world. How can you do that? Sys out of, in the print statement you can write the hello world and run this. It will print the hello world, right? But my question is, now write hello world program, print hello world program, but not write any statement in the main. Without write any single statement in the main.
Creating class.
Simply by using the static block. Static block executes first when you run a program. You can't call that. Okay? It will execute first if you run a program. Suppose non-static block. Non-static block, it will be with not at all any name. Suppose here I can write sit out of print like static block. Here I can write like hello world. It will be anything, right? Here I can write sys out of non-static block. Okay. Static block and non-static. Simply if I run this, it will print the static block. If I remove this method, then it will throw the error. Why? Because my class must contain the main method. Why? Because I am running this file. If you are running the file, it contains the main method. Okay. So that's the purpose. But this non-static block not executed, right? Non-static block not executed. Suppose if it is a method, then you can directly create an object for the class and you can access it, right? That means suppose it is a non-static method. It is a non-static block. It is fixed. Static block means it will directly execute. Fine. Then how can you access the non-static blocks? Then how can you access the non-static blocks? If it is a method, you can create object for the class. Then you can call that. Call by using the method name, right? Suppose think it is a method. Then you can create object for this static class. S1 equals to new static of like this. You can create a class and call that method by using the S1 dot something. But this block don't have any name, right? This block don't have any name. It is not a variable also. You can't. If you have to access the with by using object. Then how it will be executed? When you create an object, then it will execute. Without calling, when you create an object means you are creating S1. It is an object. So when you are creating an object, it will execute. When you are creating an object, it will execute. If it is a variable or a method, you have to be called. If it is a block, if you are creating an object, then it will be executed. Okay? Static blocks, you can't call. It will directly execute when you run a method. When you run the file. When you run the file, it will be directly called. Blocks, methods, variables. Static variable. When you are declaring static means it will be same for all the objects. If you are updating at some object, it will be updated for the all objects also. Okay? Why? Because you are directly updated the stack. Not at all anything at the in the not at all reference type, right? So because of that, static is same for that. We are saying the static variables, non-static variables. How can you access the static variables? By using the class names. How can you access the non-static variables? By creating object. By using that object reference, you have to be access it. How can you create a non-static methods? Simply like with a void or return type, you can create it. And how can you access the methods? Creating object for that and access it. How can you access the static methods? How can you access the static methods? The static methods you can access by using the class names. Static methods access by using the class names. Okay? And non-static blocks. Static blocks directly run when you run a program. Non-static blocks run when you create an object. Okay, this is about the static things. Static things stores in a different memory, non-static things stores in a different, non-static things stores in the heap memory, static things stores in a under the stack memory. One meta space is the area, it will stores there. Okay, this is about the stack and the static and the non-static. If you understand, now you can understand why we are writing the public static void main. Why? Because actually it is a one method. That means you have to create object for that method and you have to call by using the reference, but we are not creating any object for that. So why? Because it is a, we are creating it as a static, we are declaring it as a static, so it will created under the meta space and it will execute with the class name at the first. Why? Because you are writing the main method, right? So if you are instead of main, you can change with the capital main, then it will throws the error to me. Main method not found in the class, main method not found in the class. So main is small m. Suppose if I not mentioning the static keyword, main method is not static in class. Okay, main method is not static in class. That means you have to create an object and you have to call it. But where you can create the object? Where you can create, right? If you want to create, you need a main method, right? Always we are creating objects under one main method. Where you can create that main method? So because of that, must and should we need one main method for start of the program. That has to be with a static. Static is the reference keyword, void is the return type, main is the method name, fixed method name, public is the access modifier. If you are not mentioning the public, it will be the fine, it will take the default. That means default has protected, means you can access within the class. Okay, that's the purpose. So default is nothing but default has no specific range, so you have to define main method range. So for that purpose you have to be mention the public. Okay, you can declare access, we can study about the access modifier at the time of encapsulation. Okay, why? Because if you want to understand the access modifiers, when we are dealing with the private and the protected, you want to know the difference. For that you know the inheritance concept. So after the completion of the inheritance concept, I can explain the access modifiers. Okay, this is about the static and non-static as a simple topic, but important in point of the interviews. How can you run, how the Java program will be run? Because of the main method, it is the entry point you are creating with the static keyword, so it will store in one space. Without creating an object, it will be run. Okay.